Hello there, fellow CEOs. Today I'm diving into one of my favorite services, quarterly planning. And I work with high-level CEOs that are usually service providers or coaches to help them create actionable plans that actually drive results. And so let's think of your business as a journey. Your destination is that desired level of success, right? Whatever that next thing is. And your plan is the roadmap to get you there. So just like a GPS guides you on a road trip, a well-crafted quarterly plan provides direction, timeframes, and even potential challenges. And so imagine your business as a road trip to that dream vacation destination. And so without that GPS, you'd likely get lost or maybe waste some time and even miss out on some of the best parts of the journey. And so similarly, a quarterly plan does three things for you. And it provides direction, it offers clarity, and it ensures accountability. So when we're talking about how it provides direction, we're talking about it helps you stay focused on your goals and avoid distractions. When we're talking about how it offers clarity, it means that we're breaking down your journey into manageable steps, making it less overwhelming. And when we're talking about ensuring accountability, it helps you stay on track and accountable to yourself and your team. Okay, so those are three ways that this is kind of like this plan is like your GPS, right? It's allowing these things that you are desiring. And so before we jump into the key elements of a quarterly plan, we're going to dive into the importance of planning in general. I'm definitely someone that needs to know why and what it's going to do for me, right? It provides way more clarity and motivation, okay? And so if you're like me, definitely here we go. So here's why you plan. All right, there's 4 components here. So the first thing you do here is it reduces uncertainty. And so a well-crafted plan helps you anticipate challenges and prepare accordingly. The second thing as to why you should plan is it increases efficiency. So by focusing on your key priorities, you can avoid wasting time on non-income producing or non-essential tasks. The third reason that you should plan is that it improves your decision making. This one's actually my favorite, honestly. A clear plan provides a framework for making informed decisions, right? So it makes every decision even easier. And this fourth one here is it boosts morale. And that means a well-defined plan can motivate your team and create a sense of shared purpose. I love it when my team is all like totally understanding. I'm going to go off on a little bit of a story here as to what one of my clients does that I absolutely love as a part of her team. I'm her operations director. And the rest of the team also loves it too, is that every month before the month actually starts, she prepares this well thought out plan based off of the quarterly plan that we do together. But she just walks the team through, like, here's all your resources, here's the dates, this is what we're focused on, and does a Loom video as well, just to kind of give the team a sense of like unity and a shared purpose there, right? And so we're able to kind of go back to it and have everything that we need. Okay, so that's just one little tidbit there as to how a plan can also help each one of your team members feel like they are really a part of the team and that they're really supporting that mission that CEO and that company is on. Okay, and so everyone loves a roadmap, right? Even those that like to be spontaneous. I'm like a planner, but I'm also spontaneous. I'm like stuck in the middle at this moment, but it allows you to use your time and resources more efficiently. So let's go ahead and jump into actually like the 4 key elements of a quarterly plan. And then I'm going to actually walk you through the actual steps on creating and implementing your plan. Okay. And so this is going to be lots of fun. This is what I do with my clients, those high level clients that have me on retainer. We do this quarterly. All right. So the 4 key components, the elements of your quarterly plan, the first one is your goals for the quarter, right? So where do you want to be by the end of the quarter that you're planning for? That's the first thing that you're going to ask yourself. That's the first thing that needs to be included. I'm going to walk you through the steps as to how to figure out those goals here in just a minute. The second element that needs to be in your quarterly plan is your team. So who's actually involved in achieving these goals, like helping you achieve these goals? You need to know that as well. The third element of a quarterly plan is key milestones. So what are the important steps or checkpoints along the way? And that's where actually having that quarterly plan, but then also breaking it down into monthly, like my one client I said does, is super helpful because we're able to like check in each month and we're able to like break it down into 3-month increments and be able to really check those milestones. And the fourth element in your quarterly plan is those potential challenges that are potentially could come up, right? So what obstacles might you encounter and how will you actually address them? So if we already kind of have these thought out, we're able to like really put together a really good, robust quarterly plan that you and your team can follow. It allows us to be really clear and actionable. So where it sets you up for success, right? And so the question I get a lot is, where do you map out this plan? Like, where does it live? Okay. And so many of my clients and myself use a combination of these: ClickUp, a Google Drive, a Google Calendar, a notebook, whatever that looks like, right? So that's what my clients usually use because they're all online and where everyone can access it in some shape or form. And of course, we use like a Google Calendar for like actual dates that came from that plan as well, right? So we're going to jump into the steps for creating and implementing your plan. All right. So there's 7 steps here. If you're in a safe place to write these down, absolutely do so. If you are not, totally swing back by and write these down when you're done. All right. But I also kind of had these in the show notes too, as well, if you wanted to grab them there. So the steps for creating and implementing your plan, the first one is going to be evaluating the previous quarter, right? So we have to find the goals for this next quarter, right? That's one of the key elements of a quarterly plan, but we also have to know what the previous quarter provided us. What sort of insights did it and data, right? Did it provide us? So reflect on the successes that you had in the previous quarter, the challenges that you faced, and any lessons that you learned. Okay, so go ahead and like definitely look at those. The second step here is actually going to be brainstorming those goals, right? This is answering the other core element of your team. How are they going to be involved? Your team, and not necessarily your whole team, but whoever you would like to have involved in brainstorming those goals for the next quarter, you're going to collaborate with the team to set those achievable goals, okay? And then the third step is actually mapping it out. So you're going to map out the steps needed to implement the plan, right? And mapping it out is going to allow you to have each step-by-step process. What are the projects that you need to do in this quarter? What are the tasks? What are the emails? What are the insert whatever it is, right? Depends on what type of business you have. It depends on what your plan is for the quarter, but we're mapping it out as to when things are going to go live. But then we're also going to create the timeline, which goes into step 4, creating a timeline, which is breaking those goals down into smaller actionable steps and actually adding in those deadlines, right? So you're going to make sure you take into account anything that's happening in that quarter, like trips or any meetings, anything that's on that calendar that you need to make sure that we are planning around. Right? So then we can create that timeline, which is ultimately creating that key element number 3 of those key milestones that you can then be able to check in on. Okay. And the 5th step in creating and implementing your plan is going to be actually assigning those tasks to your team members. So delegating those tasks to your team members based on their skills, their availability, right? Their job description, all of those things. Who are you assigning those to? And then that kind of goes right into step 5, right? Because how are we assigning them to them? We're going to use project management tools. Of course, I would choose ClickUp, and that's actually what I use, and all of my clients actually use ClickUp as well to track progress and stay organized. So we're actually putting in all of those tasks and steps inside of ClickUp. We're assigning them to the proper team member, and then we're able to keep track of the progress through ClickUp that way. All right. And then number 7 is going to be reviewing and adjusting the plan as we go. So regularly assessing your plan to make necessary adjustments. So that's where this is a quarterly plan, but that's where when you're coming in on that monthly plan, when we're breaking it down, like my one client does, is we're able to kind of evaluate what needs to adjust based off of that like monthly review when we're going to do that next month overview. Okay. So when you're ready to implement your quarterly planning process to really step into that visionary role, delegate effectively and feel really, really good about your next steps, I want you to head on down to the show notes and I want you to fill out the work with me form to see if a quarterly plan is your next big CEO move, because I would love to support you in creating that quarterly plan to help you be more efficient and feel really good about the next steps. So I want you to be able to end 2024 and move into 2025 differently. All right. Bye for now.